Fun fact, I had like 2 meetings with Spotify. I was supposed to have a podcast. Oh, this is like tea. We'll start the tea right away.
Oh my gosh, wait. So I was busy working on my video Toxic Friends that will be out soon. And I see that Trisha's celebrating Colleen's cancellation. Hi, my name is Jem, and today we are going to reload the first episode of Just Trish.
Welcome to Just Trish. That was beautiful. All right, here we go. First episode of my solo, not so solo podcast, Just Trish. It's just me. That's it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I've tried to have co-hosts. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the drama. I don't know. But it's just Trish. It's just me.
Realizing you can't play well with others is a step in the right direction, Trisha.
Except this time I do have some friends and some help because Lord knows I could not do this setup by myself, nor can I converse with myself. But hey, welcome to the Just Trish podcast. Just Trish. Had a couple different names. We had Just Trish, Only Trish. My husband thought Trish has a podcast. Trish has a talk show. I wanted Just Trish. I wanted to be like Wendy, Ellen, like.
Okay, I'm noticing that Trisha has a lot of cuts, and it's only the opening of the show, which is a far cry from her Oversharing podcast where she didn't want to cut at all. Very rarely does she cut. So again, we're seeing Trisha changing the way she does things, and I'm glad that there's a lot more cuts here because with the Oversharing podcast, it dragged on a lot. So if she's cutting, hopefully that means she's cutting out a lot of stuff that's not interesting.
You know, and I had a manager. A manager. I don't know. I've had a bunch of managers or whatever. But I had one that was like, no, Trisha, like, you're not iconic enough to be Trisha. I was like, oh, damn, okay. One day we'll manifest that. So I know it's a podcast, so it's just Trish. But hey, if you want to put me in syndication, Trish would be great. I love Wendy Williams. I wanted to be her when they wanted like a replacement when she announced she was retiring. Didn't even get offered. So I'm just manifesting it.
If you've been over here for a while, we already knew that Trisha was not going to wait on Colleen. As soon as Colleen dipped, we already said that Trisha was going to start up another podcast. She was gearing up to do her own podcast while doing the Oversharing podcast with Colleen. I knew Trisha wasn't going to miss a beat. And look, she hasn't.
With my big chair designed by my husband, Moses, who is our lighting, sound, sets, props technician over there. He does have a microphone, not a camera, but maybe one day once we get some production value up, once we actually make money on a podcast and not lose money.
And there you have it, folks. In 20 seconds or less, Trisha Paytas confirmed everything I said in my greed video as far as Moses and the contribution he was doing on the Oversharing podcast, and especially on the fact that I said the Oversharing podcast was not making a red cent. Thank you, Trisha, for the confirmation. The Oversharing podcast was in the hole, and the best thing that Colleen did for your pockets was to implode. Remember what we were saying in the greed episode? I was saying that in order to turn a profit, I said Trisha would need, at the very least, sponsorship money. And Colleen torpedoed her bankability. Therefore, Trisha had no more use for her, which is why it was bye-bye, Colleen.
And then we have my co-host, Oscar.
Oh my God. This has been a long time coming. I am a huge Trish stan for a decade now.
Yeah, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah, so to be able to sit here next to you in that pink chair is truly the honor of my life.
Aw.
Ayo guy, I'm sorry I'm going to have to do this to you, but I'm going to give you the rundown I gave Colleen when she started her podcast with Trisha. You, sir, just said you've been knowing Trisha for 10 years. And what does that mean? Anyone who's been at this channel for a while? Right. It means, guy, we will not feel sorry for you. Whatever may come of this podcast, do not come over here looking for sympathy. We have none to give you. You know who Trisha is? You've decided to do a podcast with her. If you didn't heed what happened to Ethan, you could have soaked in what happened to Colleen. But it seems to me, sir, you are hard-headed. And you know what they say? A hard head makes for a soft behind.
I'm honored. I have loved you for so long. I have wanted to work with you for so many things. Like even when I've had like successful podcasts, I'm like, let's get Oscar in here. I just love you. I just think you're so professional. We met so long ago, but I feel like really iconic. Like we've done interviews and stuff like that. And you always like interview and you're just so good. You're just so on it. You produce so much quality content for YouTubers and stuff. And I'm like, I want to work with you one day. And here we are.
Oh, okay. So he's interviewed her before and they've become friends. And come on, I think you guys know me by now. If you've been here a while, we already know. Ain't no friends here. This friend terminology, these two aren't friends, especially if you guys met with him having to interview you. Therefore, when you met, he was already in a subservient position. And even now, this is a working relationship where you're the boss. You two aren't friends? You two are not friends? Okay, let me see what else is going on because I don't know who this guy is.
It's been a dream come true. The first time I met you, I literally remember Joey Graceffa's Christmas party.
Yes.
I think you were post a breakup of some kind, and you were a little sad that year.
Yeah.
And I remember you were sitting alone at the dining room table, like eating. And then I came, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's Trisha!"
Story of my life. It's every year. 2016, 2017, 2018.
And then I walked over, and you like instantly recognized me from being an intern in Joey's friend's YouTube channel, Strawberry 17.
Okay, I don't know if we're gonna get the shout out because that's where I first saw you. And
So this guy has been working for YouTubers his whole entire life? Trisha, I see what you're doing here. You took my advice. And there's budget cuts all over the place. I can already tell this guy is not a YouTuber, therefore you are paying him peanuts. This dude here is not getting the Colleen deal. No, he is not. Trisha's like, I'm not giving no 50% to nobody. I need to pay my bills. And so this guy, you're lucky if she even gives you $100 for each episode. I'm thinking maybe she'll give you like maybe $300 to sit there and chat. But boy, oh boy, that's a far cry from how much did we calculate she was giving Colleen? Was it like $15,000 or something? Yeah, dude, you're not getting that. This is a really good business move, Trisha. Really good.
she had so many interns. I was like, wow, bougie.
Yeah.
That was iconic. She had this big house.
It was production over there.
You was really constantly working, and I was like, that's amazing. And you always stuck out. You always stuck out to me. I loved all the interns, but you stuck out. Like I remembered you.
What an honor for you. Guy, Trisha's using the word intern a little too much for my liking. Are you even sure you're getting paid? You better remind her that you were an intern in the past and not present day. Mess around and end up not getting paid for your services.
It meant the world at that Christmas party. That was a gift. I
remember that one. Yeah,
that truly was a gift. And ever since then, every time we've interacted, it's been like the highlight of my year. So this is truly. I'm so excited for this era.
Famous last words, my friend. Famous last words.
Well, you're like the brains of, I guess, eras.
Yes,
we're going to
eras.
Taylor Swift episode. You're like, oh, we need to Taylor Swift. And we're just with eras. Like, what's an era? And I was like, oh, eras. It's like a whole thing now. And they say that, like, I'm in my skinny era. I'm in my mommy era.
Yes.
I just learned that from RuPaul's this year.
And what's crazy too is I feel like our eras usually mirror each other. Like we got into our like serious relationships at the same time.
Yeah.
We've had like our ups and downs with weight at the same time.
But you no, I never had a skinny era. You
had
a
a skinny era.
No,
yes,
I just slowly gradually gained weight every year. I've never had a skinny.
No. I will have. I'm gonna literally in edit pull up like the photos of the skinny
maybe
era.
like when you came to my tour, when they like, I think maybe I was like maybe 180, but I definitely wasn't.
No, that was
skinny.
pretty skinny. I have to say. Yeah,
well, we thought about.
I was watching Frenemies the other day because I was doing this other video about toxic friends. And Trisha mentioned that there was a guy that would go to all of her shows. And then she was looking for an opportunity the next time she was going to do her shows that she was going to hire him because he was so good and that she would 100% hire her fans, like a big fan. And I'm wondering if it was this guy.
And I love
Just Trish is like the perfect podcast name, I think. And I have your slogan for you.
Yes, let's hear it. This is why you're so smart. Like, you had notes. You had stuff ready to go. Like, there's one thing there's a lot of things people can say about me, but it's like, I'm not organized. I'm messy. Like, you know what I mean? I like having structure. I just don't know how to do it. So, yeah, let's hear the slogan.
Hey, yo, buddy, if you have notes, that means you've been preparing segments for the show. So I'm going to have to bump that $300 up to $500. You should be at least getting $500 because you're also doing show prep. And she's saying now she's not even organized. So you're organizing everything for her. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't get Colleen money, but you should be getting some kind of money for your time.
It's not personal. It's just Trish.
I love
Chris will give the hot takes. We'll spill the tea.
We're doing hot takes,
but
yeah.
we don't. It's just Trish. It's just Trish. It's
I like
not
that.
personal.
It's not personal. It's just Trish.
I hope you remember that when Trisha gives you your walking papers. It's just Trish, okay? Because a time will come when she's going to realize that that $500 is better in her pocket than in yours. And maybe she's waiting for Moses to build some kind of personality, and then he can take over the chair that you're warming up for him. Just Trish. You remember that. That's for you.
I like it because here's the thing. I feel like I'm in a new, like, drama-free era. Well, that's why you're here. I feel like you bring a little more sass. You know what I mean? Like, you definitely have, like, I feel like I can, like, look at everything and, like, try and find, like, something positive in it and be like, you know what? I can see this side of it and whatever. Because it's, like, a whole new me. I feel like I did drama. Oh, this might be drama. I don't know. Because do you consider Wendy Williams drama?
My left eye is twitching.
I think she was just Wendy, like similar to you.
Wendy,
she was giving her sometimes her opinions were brutally honest, but it was never like malicious for the most part. And she just was trying to like entertain people and make people laugh. And
She had no filter.
Yeah.
They must be talking about TV Wendy. Obviously, they know nothing about radio Wendy.
Which is great. I used to have no filter too, and it's just like nowadays you have to have that filter. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I think it's good to be like conscientious of what you're saying and to, think before you speak sometimes. But it's also good. Sometimes people just need to hear the full truth and nothing but the truth. And
so help
need
us,
that brutal
Trish.
honesty.
Yeah.
You see right there when she's talking about she doesn't know whether it's good or bad, that she now has to watch what she has to say. That's how you know these people, I told you, they aren't sorry for what they've said in the past. Oh, and so help us, Trish. That line was funny, which is interesting to me because Colleen Ballinger is supposed to be a comedian. These people have been telling me, comedian where? How come there was no jokes on that podcast? You guys had 3 episodes to get something funny going on there, and I laughed not once. There was one almost joke that Trisha tried to do. I have my new computer and I don't have the Oversharing podcast. I didn't download it yet, but maybe next time I'll show it. There was one funny moment that Trisha had, and it was all Trisha. Colleen didn't even know what was going on. Colleen was not funny at all, and I see here already Trisha's already kind of gearing up for some jokes with this dude here who's also not a comedian.
She was going to have a podcast.
She had a Spotify deal, but I don't
Wendy
think
experience.
it ever...
What is up with Spotify? Okay, fun fact. I had like 2 meetings with Spotify. I was supposed to have a podcast. Oh, this is like tea. We'll start the tea right away. For literally since last September, since literally I gave birth, like me and Dr. Drew have been talking about doing a podcast. And I was like, and I love Dr. Drew so much. I actually met him way before, like right at the beginning of quarantine. Like I think it was like our second date or whatever, our second like day knowing each other. And I knew him on the Adam Carolla show, and we did like this whole like answering relationship thing. So I wanted to like...
Yeah, Trisha was on Loveline with Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla, and I had the segment for my Frenemies Reloaded that we're going to do on Dr. Drew. But anyways, when she went on Loveline, apparently she had met Adam Carolla before because I think they did some kind of TV show together, and Adam Carolla had to go to her house. So when she went on Loveline, she was like, "Hey Adam, do you remember me? You came to my house." Adam was like, "Oh yeah, I remember you. Did you fix your broken cabinets?" That was funny.
Answer mental health questions because I'm mentally ill. He's a professional, and I thought like, oh my God, what a great podcast. So we had deals with Spotify, and they were like interested, and then they just like ghosted us out of nowhere. Like it was like a big thing, and I don't even care about getting like $1 million deal. Like I don't care. I'm not Meghan Markle, but I thought like, oh, it'd be so cool to be with Spotify. And then they ghosted us, and then they dropped Meghan Markle. They dropped Wendy. Like what's going on? Do you think they have no money? Is that the tea?
Yeah, that's the literal tea. Where were you when Joe Budden broke this all down on his podcast? Spotify has no money. They gave everything to Joe Rogan. The bag was available for everybody at a certain time period where they were just throwing money at podcasts, thinking that that was going to be the next big thing. And then eventually all the money ran out. So yeah, they didn't have any money for you, Trisha.
I think that industry is just changing a lot because I know like people that work there, and there was like a lot of layoffs like a couple months ago. There was pretty big layoffs.
Really? Their studios were
Lucrative.
amazing. I went to
Yeah.
do the Julia Fox podcast, and I was in downtown LA where they have the studios, and it's like headquarters. It's like a Marvel like university. Like it's so big. Have you been there?
No.
Oh, it was such a vibe. I was like, okay, I see it there. I saved my little name tag that day. I was just like, this is the vibe. I want to be here.
Yeah, and that's where all your money went, Trisha, into that building. They had to lease it. Do you not see Hollywood striking is for this very reason? The talent does not get paid. Only the top 1% of talent gets paid. So there you have your Joe Rogans. And then after that, there's nothing left for everybody else because the executives has all the rest of the moolah.
And then they dropped the ball, and I was just like, dang, I was so excited. It still might happen. He has like 10 podcasts. So, I don't know. What still might happen. I know he's busy, but maybe we'll get him on as a guest because I feel like I have so much to unpack with all the trauma.
He's busy? I don't know, Trisha. That sounds like Hollywood talk. Are you sure he's really busy? Or is it more that he doesn't want to do business with you anymore? Maybe your reputation got back to him.
My year of pregnancy was the best year because I didn't interact with anybody and it was so peaceful. I was so happy. Everyone's like, you're glowing. It's great. And the minute I started interacting with people again, it's like literally just, I don't know. I think it's me. I truly think it's me, which is why I need Dr. Drew's professional opinion, but you can give me your non-professional opinion. But I want to know what it is about me that I attract this.
Okay, guy who says that he's Trisha's friend. By the way you answer this question, I'm going to know if you're really her friend or not. Take it away. Also, I've been calling this guy so often, I've officially forgotten his name. So hopefully they repeat it.
It's I really feel like I've done my karma, my bad karma. I've served my bad karma. What is it now that I'm attracting this?
Want to make a bet that even after studying the world religions, when she uses the word karma, it has nothing to do with the Hindu version nor the Buddhist version. It's the Trisha version.
See, I think that you're just so welcoming and open that sometimes it can go either way, right? You can attract the good people and the stable people, but because you are just so open arms, once you start having conversations with people, you just kind of invite anyone in, and a lot of people in LA are just kind of terrible. So I think that's kind of it.
She's fallen out with her good friends, Shane Dawson, Colleen Ballinger, Jeffree Star. So what are you talking about, buddy? Have you not heard the term birds of a feather flock together? Or, as I more like to say, water seeks its own level. She's around those people because she's of the same ilk.
Because even when I first met you, I could have been terrible, you know what I mean? But you were so sweet, right off the bat.
Yeah, that's true. I guess. Yeah, I feel like I'm a good judge, but then shit happens and I'm just like, oh my God.
No offense, but the fact that you are proudly saying Trisha's your friend for over 10 years, I'm kind of side-eyeing you too because you're flocking. And that guy, what's his name, Joey, that you guys are hanging out with? I have a bad feeling about him too because he's all y'all's friends.
I don't know. I just feel like even in my hater era, I never really I don't know. I just don't understand
even in your hater era though, you were always very sweet. I feel like that's what people don't truly get about you is that behind the scenes, you are very caring and nurturing and you go above and beyond for people that you work with. That is the true tea.
That's the tea.
The people that you work with. Oh, you are so sweet. No, the people that work for her, which includes you. Why are you putting her on your level in that sense? You're working for her. She doesn't work with you. Also, because she's the one who's paying your bills, Trisha said that she's a hater and you were sugarcoating her, admitting her faults, and you're sugarcoating it oh, but you were still caring. How could you be a hater and caring? Does that make any sense? Exactly. No, it doesn't.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So even in your hater era, you were an undercover sweetie.
I know. I feel like the hater era was especially the hater era. It's me by myself in my little apartment. That's the kitchen floor era, right?
Yeah, that's the cabinets falling off the hinges era, according to Adam Carolla.
Where I literally had nothing going on, on drugs, miserable. I was a secret hater, or online. I just I wanted to, but I never I don't know. know. Like, it's hard to say. Like, I was a hater, but I wasn't like a mean girl. Do you know what I mean?
Know why that guy hasn't seen Mean Trish personally? I'll tell you why. Because I seen it. I know what this guy is talking about. Trisha is very nice and courteous to the people she pays, who are very nice and courteous to her. Because you remember on the last episode of the Oversharing podcast, she's telling us that she spent $300,000 on music videos. Do you understand that all the people on that production team were just about kissing her feet just to keep her as a client? So when Trisha experiences people like that who are working for her that she's paying, she's going to treat them well because they treat her well. But the minute something doesn't go her way, like remember that Her by Jay, he's not going to have the same opinion of Trisha because she did not want to pay him for his services. And so he had to start acting ignorant. So yeah, Trisha is nice to the people who work for her, but the minute you have a problem about your pay, or the minute your pay doesn't hit your bank account and you go ask her what's up, then I want you to tell me how nice she is.
Like, the people who, like, attack people's, like, looks or weight or, you know, OnlyFans or whatever, like, I just feel like I never was like that.
Yeah, you weren't that, Trisha, because that's what people would do to you. So, of course, you're not going to be that. I'd never do that. Yeah, because you're doing the other stuff. What is she saying?
Like, I never was like, you know what I mean? I just don't get the mentality. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. But I can't keep friendships. I can't keep a podcast. My longest running podcast was 10 months. It was the Just Trish, and I got fired from podcast one. They literally were like, we can't afford to keep you on anymore. And I paid for everything. Like, the set was me, the editing was me. I was like, wait, how can you not afford to, like, put me on? I don't know. It was very weird.
That's low-key Trisha trying to say that Podcast One ripped her off and stole her money. See, that's her saying that, but this is her saying it in her new era where she's not crying on the kitchen floor. Also, that goes to show you how little you are making them, that even you doing all the editing yourself and doing the camera and doing the lighting, and all they had to do was upload your podcast, just press a button. You were costing them so much money that it wasn't even worth them pressing a button. That says more about you than them. Trisha, it's all about you making sponsorships. And Guy, you too, if she doesn't get any sponsorships, this podcast is not going to last.
And then I was getting not brand deals, but ad read money for a while. And then they just took everything off podcast one. I'm like, dang. So I got fired from that podcast. It was 10 months. I'm trying to make this last a year.
I believe in us.
Who is us? You do not see this thing is called Just Trish? You notice that the Oversharing podcast had her name and Colleen's name on it. Your name is nowhere to be found. So much so I forgot what your name is.
And you know what? You can't keep a good Trish down. You really can't. You do bounce back. And that's kind of the iconic thing about you is that you do have like all these eras because like the second one thing ends, it's like, what's next?
Well, I mean, she already did the anti-black era and the anti-Semitic era. So after that, I'm not sure where else she could go.
I know. I really am what's next, And I thought, I'll just take another year, get pregnant, and just, like, isolate again. But, it's getting hard. It's hard to get pregnant again. So I'm like, let me just do another podcast. We have this really cool studio space. And my husband, like, designs furniture, sets, and everything like that. Moses over there. He designs everything. So it's like.
Congratulations, Moses. You got a promotion.
Great. Just with Trish was like a painted wall on a couch. And I was literally the one pushing the audio and stuff like that. I was doing it all myself. It was iconic, but it was just like so hard to do. So this is fun. I just can just show up and manifest it. I really would love a TV show. I would love it. I know it's like old school and it doesn't pay a lot. It doesn't get as much views, but I like a TV show.
We're manifesting.
We're manifesting.
I will say though, entering Trish Studios here today was truly an experience. The portraits of you on the walls, the green room, the lighting. Like
it's green room.
Yeah. The snacks.
Donuts.
Crafty.
Yes, that's compliments to my mom.
Was there. I was like, oh my God, do they have like PAs? Like what is going on? This is full blown like production.
We need interns.
Like
we called it. When Colleen was doing the Oversharing podcast with Trisha, we said that she probably provided snacks for everybody for coming to her house and working on the podcast. So she's doing the same thing for this dude.
I've never had assistants or interns. I don't know. I kind of like it like that though. I like just kind of having like the people that I know here,
Yeah.
Moses, my mom, and you.
But it's an experience. So don't sell Trish Studios short. Like
Yeah, okay.
Spotify can never have like the pregnancy portraits of Trisha Paytas on the walls. So
require that too.
This is like how you felt about going to Spotify with Miss Julia Fox. Like that's how I feel.
Okay.
Trish Studios.
Oh, their falling out is gonna be epic.
Love it.
Yeah, so don't sell yourself short.
Perfect. Yeah, we produced all this ourselves, everything. I'm sure it looks amazing. I'm sure it looks great. But by the way, can I just say that I guess I'm fat, I've gained weight. Like, I hate these comments like, Trisha got so fat, she got so big. Yes, like, I'm fat. Just like, don't comment that on every single thing. Like, I get it. Like, it just spams my comments with it.
Remember, if you've been watching this series, do not fall for the bait.
But I have a chair to make me look smaller, and so hopefully it's doing that effect. How's the angle? My husband was going to do it over the shoulder angle. He's like, oh, maybe you don't want to have your, which is good. I appreciate the honesty now. Early on in our relationship, I would have said no.
And you see how her chair and camera angle, everything is positioned differently compared to the Oversharing podcast? Trisha knows how to shoot and she knows what angle she looks best in. And you see here that she said that Moses was the one who told her how she should position her camera for this podcast. The same way Moses told her this time, Moses could have told her on the last podcast. She knows what she's doing.
Which that is one of our hot topics. So basically every week we're going to do like little hot takes. I feel like I stayed out of the drama. I don't like to comment on people's lives, but I feel like I can add positive commentary. As someone who's been rock bottom multiple times, I feel like I can like appreciate, see the situation, see where the positive comes, because it's like there's always a way out is what I'm like.
Okay, Trisha, then tell us, how can Colleen dig her way out of the mess she's in now? We're waiting.
I feel like there's always a way out of anything. I feel like I should be a publicist at this point, like a PR person. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not really great at getting myself out of situations, but I can like see where it could like flip. You have to kind of see the whole story. Like, again, doing bad things and making bad choices doesn't make you a bad person or whatever.
And that mistake doesn't make them a terrible human. It just makes them a human.
But I'm, by the way, not manifesting being canceled. I don't think I'm canceled. I don't think I'm cursed either. Someone told me like, oh my God, the Trisha curse. Like I went on Megan Trainor's podcast and then, you know, she had like a little cancellation over something she said. And then obviously my last one is, so everyone's like, oh, it's the curse of Trisha, whatever she's on. It's awful. And
No, not us over here. We don't say you're cursed, Trisha. We say that we don't feel sorry for those people, Megan, Colleen, and that dude sitting in front of you right now. That's what we say. All those people said they've been fans of yours or they've known you for a very long time. So they should not be surprised by any antics that come about from sitting beside you on a couch or having you invited to their podcast. We don't feel sorry for them. None of them. And you could add Moses to the list too.
I don't believe I'm cursed. I don't. And I'm manifesting that I'm not cursed. I'm manifesting the comeback. I'm manifesting my Wendy era. Anyways, we're back to, what should we call like hot takes? I feel like we should call it hot topics.
I think hot takes is good because here's the thing. I think you can be definitely positive and, you know, give your Trish take, but I'm here to be like a little bit more realistic. Like I can't really be canceled because I don't do anything.
I knew it.
Like I'm just a person who works.
Just wait. They'll be like, don't work with us. You know, I get that. Like the hate I get now is just people DMing everyone I work with. So
not us over here. We don't have the time to be DMing people. We are here just to enjoy the show because when Trisha attacks, it's usually the blockbuster of the summer.
I just like mind my own business and just work a regular job. I'm just like a regular old gay guy.
Right.
So I think that's
You're
like
not regular.
So I think I offer that perspective.
Listen, the rainbow cannot save you from Trisha. She occupies 3 of the colors. What do you occupy? Just one? You're not going to win this one.
And like I'm in the industry, so I kind of like know the behind the scenes of a lot of stuff. So
you're always on the pulse.
Yeah, I'm here to be like a little bit more realistic.
I love
and
that.
It might not be the popular opinion at the time, but I'm usually on the right side of history. Herstory, I will say.
I love it. Wait, what's herstory?
It's like history, but
Feminist.
So like,
okay.
Yeah,
yes,
like for
Barbie,
mothers.
herstory. I love it because I've heard that before and I didn't know what it was. I absolutely love it. I mean, as long as you never like sent my like naked images to make fun of me, I think we're good.
Whoa! Trisha did not come to play today. Look at her face, Colleen. She's not afraid of you.
Count on me to never do that.
You know, sometimes I get blindsided. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know.
I at least have a good moral compass too, I would say. Like just for like the barometer of morality. Like I was always on Team Taylor even when she was getting canceled, and I knew I was on the right side of history.
Sorry, Mr. Dude, you offered Trisha no pushback, so I'm going to have to believe your barometer is broken. Thank you and good night.
Well, I think the timing for this podcast is kind of iconic because, I mean, not only is it Barbie,
yes,
Barbenheimer,
yeah, Barbenheimer,
which is our look. We never even explained our look. So Barbenheimer look
yes,
today.
This is the vibe. Are you gonna always dress like Oppenheimer?
Certainly not.
I love it. I know nothing about it, so I'm just like, you look great.
I literally like had to look up, like, I'm not an Oppenheimer girly. I'm like, one ticket for Barbie, please. Like
That's right.
all
You said your boyfriend.
But
yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna get in the spirit of the Barbenheimer spirit and give it a whirl. But like on the reg, this is not gonna.
It's not your thing. You're more of the Barbie.
I'm definitely more Barbie coded. Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna be Barbie every week, so you're welcome to join the Barbie theme, or you can just come in a different theme for each whatever comes out each week. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like you're so on it. Me, I'm just like, I'm just gonna wear pink all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting the wrong idea, but it seems to me that Trisha did not pay for Mr. Dude's outfit. Like, he did that on his own. So maybe she came up with the theme and he had to take it upon himself to come out with his own outfit, the same way she took it upon herself to come out with her outfit, which is smart on Trisha's part. If she doesn't have to cover the cost for her co-host's costume, it's going to be a win for her in the long run, because her paying for Colleen's costume ran up the bill for her podcast. So if she can take away that expense for this one, it's a win for her.
I think the biggest thing is all of a sudden at the beginning of the week, there was a ton of breakup news that came out of kind of like nowhere.
And so now they start talking about Ariana Grande, who just split with her husband. And the conversation turns to a celebrity, famous person, dating or being married to someone who's not famous, and the dynamics of that kind of relationship.
Like Moses and I, when we go out, pandemonium. Moses, I think we're in the same category as an Ariana and what was his name?
Dalton.
The Dalton. You're the handsome real estate and you're the handsome architect when I met you. And you did build all this. Anyways.
The architect is not usually the builder, my dear. But you know what? I'm not going to get on Trisha's case. She has a lot of making up to do to Moses. And I see that she wants to beat it over our heads that Moses built the set. Okay, we hear you, Trisha. He's an architect. He's a builder. He's a mason. He's the little pig that built his house out of stone. We get it.
What's it like dating a superstar famous person outside?
I actually had no idea how famous you are.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like when we went out the first time, because again, we were in the pandemic, just home, just us.
Right.
And suddenly we went out and everyone wants to take a picture and talk to you. And I was just like shocked.
You didn't know. So what did it turn you off? Were you like, oh, I hate this?
To me, I mean, it brought me joy. I saw how happy people were to see you. So I was like, oh, wow, this is nice. Like because you're always nice to them.
Okay, can someone please tell me when Moses became the perfect husband? You need to fill me in, because when did this happen?
Yeah, well, for the record, I literally don't think I'm Ariana, but Moses does. He will think that I'm like the most famous person in the world. And he's like, so serious. You are. He's so serious about it. He'll literally be like, during the Brad Pitt era, when I love everything, but when I was like marrying the corporate cut out Brad Pitt, like, I really thought in my heart of hearts, I mean this with my whole body, that like Brad Pitt would see me and be like, oh, like maybe I should date her, maybe I should call and ask her on dinner. And I was like so serious about it. And like no one else would be like, okay, you're delusional, whatever. And Moses like, I love Brad Pitt. He's like, I think he would love you too. Like he's so serious. Like he really thinks that like if I was like in the vicinity of Brad Pitt, like he might actually want like, or Adam Sandler or something, you know what I mean? And it's like,
she told the exact same story on the Oversharing podcast. It's the first episode and she's already recycling stories. I'm nervous for you, Trisha.
He's been so hyped for me. Like, he thinks that I'm like this. But I feel like, to me, I would think they want that. They want that security. For me, I always wanted to date famous guys. I was like, I only want to date famous guys and people with followers. But it wasn't until I met Moses that I was like, this is like such a better lifestyle because you just feel supported. You feel like, I don't know. Sometimes also, too, when there's two, you know, my personality is a lot. It's like come down a lot. But when you have two people that are just like a lot together, it can be like too toxic or whatever. So I feel like having a regular guy, it's not a bad thing. But like someone that's not a celebrity, it just feels like more secure. You feel like more humbled.
Yeah,
you know?
especially.
Do you guys think that that's a compliment? Because it's not.
For Ariana, the funniest part about the whole thing, though, is she went to Wimbledon with her Wicked co-star, like Jonathan Bailey, and people thought that she was dating Jonathan Bailey, who is gay. The guy from Bridgerton.
Is he out?
Yes, he's out. But I do think Ariana loves the LGBT, so I'm not like shocked to see her wanting to hang out with like a gay guy because she knows she like
no, that is okay. So you're not okay. I was just thinking like, oh, could they be dating?
No, I'm pretty like I think she just loves gay guys. I really do think so.
Same. I wish the whole world was just gay men. It would be so fun.
It would be so fun. Now, I was going to say this earlier because when I saw Trisha's co-host, this is what came to my mind, but I just thought to myself, let me not say anything. But since Trisha went out of her way to say it now, what I want to say is I can see why she and Shane Dawson were the best of friends because they both see the world in stereotypes. I'm reminded of Frenemies when Ethan would tell Trisha that going around saying how much she loves Jewish people is not doing what she thinks it's doing. And here I would say the same thing with her saying she loves gay people and she wants the whole world to be filled with gay people. She's looking at gay people through the lens of stereotypes. This is just what she's giving off to me.
Well, that's why you're here. I feel like you bring a little more sass. You know what I mean? Like you definitely have like.
But yo, if the co-host likes it, I love it. You can just count down the time to when Trisha's going to start saying like offensive stuff, but it being a joke and her being her little clueless self. And then this guy's going to be there like laughing too. He's going to think it's the funniest thing in the world. So we're just going to sit back and watch, okay?
It would just be so amazing. Even the ones, I mean, I've had my own drama with gay men in my life and stuff like that. There's like friends and stuff like that. But they're just like, at the end of the day, they're just so fun. And they just get it. They get everything. They get the man side. They get the girl side. Like they get everything. I feel like with like straight men, they don't really get the girl side. I feel like straight women, they're, gay men are just the perfect specimen.
Y'all Trisha fans can stay there if you think what Trisha is doing right now is complimentary. It's not. See, the thing with stereotypes is you have to take the good with the bad. So all these good things she's saying about gay people, you best believe any bad stereotypes about them she believes as well. Never mind what she was saying right now between straight men and straight women and how they view things. I don't even get what she's talking about. But anyways, this is the same thing she was doing Ethan, buttering him up about how much he loves Jewish people. But Ethan picked up on it right away because soon as money got into the conversation and she was mad, all the negative stereotypes about them came out, didn't they? Yep. Who's surprised? No one. So this is something to watch out for, okay? She's buttering him up about how much she loves gay people, but you wait, she's gonna drop the hammer. Even if it's not in this episode, it will come eventually.
For the most part, yeah.
I've never met a gay I didn't like.
That's tea, okay.
Yeah, I never have. You know what I mean? Even the ones I'm like, cringe, ick, whatever, I still love.
Yeah.
Can't say that about a lot of straight men. But.
That's true.
Tell me how my guy right here saw what Trisha was up to and was trying to steer her in a totally different direction. He sees what's up. I see you, Mr. Dude, but what I want to know is how you're going to navigate Trisha in the future, because don't think she's going to stop. She just laid the foundation, all right? She put the cement down, laid the foundation, and watch Moses go start building.
Well, another high-profile couple also broke up. Literally the same day announced their divorce.
Why announce it on the same day?
Yeah.
Why not wait?
I know. I guess they're like, okay.
Then they start talking about an older Hollywood couple in their 50s that just announced they're divorced. Sophia, whatever her name is, and the other guy, the True Blood guy, whatever his name is.
And then I'm dead alone.
And it's like, how do you date? I mean, for them, they probably have a million options, but I'm just like thinking for me, like 7 years at that age, I'm like, oh my God, what would I do?
Yeah, my options were done like when I met Moses, you know what I mean? I mean, granted, I found the best one ever. When I say that, I feel like people are like, oh my God. No, but like I literally, when I think about all the people I dated, I'm like, I never dated anyone that like liked me. There's no one out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you find someone you actually connect with and want to spend 7 years with, you might as well just stick it out for life. You know what I mean?
So
Just stick it to the end.
Think, like,
so that's Trish speak for saying that nobody but Moses was willing to marry her. Trisha, that's nothing to be ashamed of. There are people who can't even find anybody to marry them, never mind just one. I mean, one is all you need, right?
Why, like what made them actually do the divorce? But
I always have to think like maybe they just find someone else. Like especially in Hollywood, I think it's so easy to fall in love. Back to Ariana, is she dating? Not dating. She was with the guy that plays Fierro. Is he Jonathan Baileyson?
Yes.
He plays Fierro.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about Wicked?
No.
You're not
I'm
a musicals
not a Broadway
person.
Girl. No. You're not a Taylor girly. I'm not a musicals person.
Oh my God! How?
Don't worry, I've been listening to Trisha for a while. I know how to translate ignorant. What she's trying to say is, how can you not like the theater? You're gay. Yeah, that's what she's trying to say right here.
They do like reverse episodes.
Oh my God, for sure. I have a Wicked costume. My last podcast, we were supposed to be Glinda and Elphaba, so if you want to throw on the Glinda one, I have an extra small.
Trisha has graduated from toddler behavior. No more throwing a tantrum on the kitchen floor. She has graduated. Now she's in kindergarten, and telling Mr. Man that she has an extra small he could wear is her way of taking a little dig at Colleen.
In my bony little back.
Yeah.
Never seen Wicked.
No.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I've seen it like 30 times. I love it.
See, yeah, we have to do a whole, like, I teach you about Taylor, you teach me about
I would have
musicals.
loved to have been that. I mean, the last person that I hated on was probably Melissa McCarthy as playing Ursula in Little Mermaid. Just, again, jealousy. I just wanted to play her so bad. It's not personal. It's just Trish.
So BB Rexa and her boyfriend of 3 years seemingly broke up because she shared a screenshot of their text message conversation where he wrote to her about her weight, about how she gained 35 pounds and how her face changed. And BB kind of implied that that's kind of the reason why they're breaking up.
Do you have the conversation, how it went?
So she only posted his, like, it was a long message from him.
Right away, I'm like, why don't you post the whole thing? You know, when people cut out, like, what they said, only because I've done this too, like the Nikocado thing, you know what I mean? I cut out what I've said, you know, and then you just...
And that's why we made sure to add Nick's head to her mantle.
but anyways, continue, because...
Here's the thing that makes it a little bit more controversial. He said, I gained 3 pounds and you called me chubs and fat. Doesn't mean you don't love me. So it's like, at first you're like very much like, oh my God, like, yes, like a guy can't want to say something about your weight.
Period. Bottom line, that's it. She loses.
But then seeing that she also makes fun of him if he gains weight makes it a little
I
complicated.
think we live in a world that's just like double standards no matter what. There'll always be double standards. And I think one of the ones is like there are certain things men can't say to women that women shouldn't say to men but can get away with it. You know what I mean? I think like bottom line, men should like never ever like call a woman fat. But like I don't think, and I'm so sensitive to weight that I don't think you should ever call someone fat either.
Yeah.
But I think it's like it is so different. I think it's so different, right?
Wrong. I hate to bring it up, but this is the same mentality why she thought it was okay to go and hit Moses and barricade Moses in her house when he wanted to leave. This is the same thought process, thinking it's okay if a woman does it and it's inconceivable if a man does it. No. And that's why she made a big fuss with Jason Nash saying something to her about her weight, even though in that same video, she says something to Jason about his weight. But she's going to make everybody think that Jason's the most horrible person in the world. You can pick anything else and say Jason is horrible, but not him saying something about Trisha's weight when Trisha was there sabotaging him because he was trying to lose weight. Not all bets are off. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Trisha, if it's very sensitive, your weight and talking about your weight, then do yourself a favor and not attack people, especially someone you're dating, about their weight. How about that? Never mind keeping your hands to yourself. Just because you know Moses won't hit you back doesn't mean you have free reign to hit him whenever you want.
Like, I feel like it's a guy saying it. It's like, okay, she called you fat and chubs, and again, context all of that like that, but it's just different.
Especially if I don't know what the boyfriend or ex-boyfriend looks like, but especially if he's like a ripped kind of like guy already, and like if he's talking about getting 3 pounds, which like I get it because like my weight fluctuates a lot, and like if my boyfriend was talking about getting 3 pounds and he still like looks like skinny and like built, you know, it's like it's not the same. Like,
do you all want to know why these conversations are low vibrational? This podcast, the Oversharing podcast, Shane Dawson podcast, any of these things, that's why they're all friends. You know why it's so low vibrational? Because even this story they're talking about in the news, they cannot see past themselves. Trisha is looking at it as an overweight person. This dude is looking at it as an overweight person. And at no time are they ever going to put themselves in the other person's shoes. And you have to at least do that. Just even to get the other side of the story. Just put yourself in the other person's shoes. You don't always have to make yourself the victim. You get it? It's role playing. You're talking about two people and an argument or a disagreement they're having in a relationship. Relationships, everybody's going to have disagreements. You have to at least at one point put yourself in the other person's shoes. I'm not saying that the other person is right, but at least put yourself in their shoes so you can have another aspect of the conversation. These guys are so low vibrational, one-dimensional, one thought at a time type people. I could never listen to this if I wasn't doing a review of it. Never.
It doesn't
Would you
work the
tell
same.
him?
If he gained weight?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. But he talks about when he gains weight a lot of the times too, but he has that body type where he always looks hot. Like he doesn't
Right.
like I have to work out every single day just to look like the way I look, which is so tragic.
Yeah.
And he like barely works out and has like abs and like muscles. And it's like one of those. He can eat anything.
And just in case some people are thinking, hey, Jem, look, he's giving the other side of the argument. He's talking about if he was in the same situation, he wouldn't complain about his boyfriend's weight. But that is not what I'm talking about. Stop putting yourself in the situation. You're not going to be that person. Oh my goodness. You guys. I'm sounding like Moses. Remember Moses with his love or hate? Okay, that's in too deep. If you don't even know what I'm talking about, never mind. But you have to put yourself in that person's shoes. Like you have to become that person. If you were in that person's situation, how would you act and how would you behave? Okay, so I don't know these people, but I'm thinking if they're a superficial couple, then it would make sense that the one person is going to tell the other person, hey, you gained some weight. I'm just assuming. I don't know, because I don't know who these people are. Are they actors or whatever? Because in my mind, they're a superficial couple. And if you are a superficial couple, then yes, if one of y'all gain weight, it's going to be a big problem compared to if your relationship is based on love, or if it's based on finance, or if it's based on culture, religion.
I feel like
With a smile.
they do.
Oh, yeah.
He gets told all the time.
Oh, yeah. In Israel, like everyone will comment
Friends.
about your weight all the time, everywhere.
Where
No
they
matter.
like touch his belly and stuff like that. I was
Oh,
just
I would
like,
die.
yeah.
I
To
could
me, I'm
not.
like, what?
No,
Like,
no.
but do you don't take offense to it? You're just like, whatever.
I don't take offense to anything because that's what I'm used to.
Right. That's just
Right?
how you
So-
are.
So yes, it's about sensitivities. You just have to understand other people's
Yeah.
sensitivities.
This dude Moses, after you invited him, will walk into your house, go over to your mantle, and blow out your candles. Oh yeah, Trisha told us all of this on Frenemies. He was rude to the core.
Like, yeah.
And then further along in the episode, Trisha lets us know if she has a son, she'll name him.
Go. Like, if we have a son, it's gonna be Elvis. And I was like, what? Like,
Wow, that's nice. Okay, and then they go on to talk about The Bachelor or Bachelorette, one of those shows. Apparently, they're going to do an older bachelor, an older bachelorette. I think they're supposed to be over 65 years old. And then Trisha gets into her whole rant about age gaps in relationships.
I think it's so like we need to see that on TV, like age appropriate relationships. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I have a few platforms that I have hard stances on, and like age gap relationships give me the ick, and I try not to judge. And like anymore, I don't call people out if I see an age gap relationship. I'm like, okay, like maybe it's gonna work for you. I don't know. I have such trauma from them. So like big age gaps and like young women, like 18 with like 40. I just think ick. Okay.
I think it's more to do because Trisha Paytas is no longer young. And so when she was dating Jason Nash and he had a crush on Tana, who was, maybe 19 at the time, Trisha knows she can't compete with someone that much younger than her. And I think Trisha looks at it as a competition, and she is very insecure that her boyfriend loves youth, and that is something she no longer has. And so with Moses, her dating Moses at the beginning of the relationship, it was that same thing where she went on the attack because Moses was dating, what did she say? She said underage. She wanted to change it, but she said like Moses was dating underage people, but then she was like young, whatever.
When you get older, it's different,
Yeah.
like Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones are 25 years apart, but they seem like the same age, like
Yeah.
you're like, I don't know. When you're older, it's completely different. So I love that we're doing age-appropriate relationships. I love that they're not casting anyone under 65.
See, that's what
Because like you were saying about the Jordan thing, it's like when you're young, I would know when I was young, I thought it was cool. You're like, oh, I'm mature. I'm with a mature guy. You see something special in me. Like, and maybe you are attracted to that. I was attracted to older guys. I always have been. But it's like there's something ick about the older guy, that 40-year-old that's okay with dating the 21-year-old. It's
Yeah.
like, this person is not developed. This person hasn't lived. It's always giving me the ick. It's a strong stance I'll always have. Like, I'm sorry, not sorry about it, but
To me, I don't think she cares about anybody else. It's more like her relationships, and she's going to make it her thing that she does not like age gaps. And Moses, you better not mess with her as far as that's concerned, because she's going to get you, but it shouldn't be a surprise because she already got you. The same rant she went on the first time you left her for someone younger, she'll do the same rant again, but with more venom.
I do follow some people in age gap relationships on TikTok, and I always love the person in it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll meet someone one day where I'm like, oh, it actually works for them.
Yeah, 59.
Oh, she's great, iconic. I love you, and I love you guys. Please subscribe. This channel, it's on my Evolution of Trish channel. Basically, I started with Just Trish. You can see the early episodes here. Then we went into Trish Talks.
Okay, that's it for Just Trish's first episode. You tell me, do you like this podcast better than her Oversharing podcast? Please let me know. And now I'm on my way to finish up my video on toxic friends.